Peace in the body. What is it and how do we experience it? This is the question Wren and Fallon explore in Season 3 of Mujeres Co-Labor for Peace.
When it comes to healing and you're stuck in healing, where can we invite in that energetic peace?
Bringing you expert advice in healing from a host of practices and practitioners, Wren and Fallon seek to increase complete wellness and lasting peace, one insight at a time. Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Wren Ribeiro, and today we are missing our other host, Fallon Stone, who is a little under the weather, and we are here with our guest, Angelica Lopez of Mitra Healing Centered Yoga. This is episode 9 of Season 3, Peace in the Body, Mujeres Co-Labor for Peace. And we wish Fallon and all of you complete wellness and lasting peace. So let's jump in to what you do as a healing-centered yogi. I took your course, and the trauma, I brought it right here, Thrive workbook. This is amazing. The whole course was amazing. 8 weeks of thriving, 8-week series for survivors. I can't even say survivors of sexual trauma. A companion, like it really was a companion, as were you and all the folks in the class. And I love this. I use it a lot, and all the resources chock full. So I'm just launching it, and I apologize for that because great. I'm really enthusiastic to have you. I'm honored to have you here. I have so much respect for the work that you do and the way you do it. Thank you. And can't wait to hear about what's alive for you in this moment. Is there something that you'd like to open with about who you are and what you're up to?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. So I am the founder of Mitra Healing Centered Yoga, and I founded this organization about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now. I became a yoga teacher because yoga was so important for my own personal healing from a very early age. And then as I got older and as COVID hit, there was kind of this moment of like, if the world really is ending, like, what do I want to be doing with my life? Wow. And so I decided to finally become a yoga teacher. And I was never planning to make it a business. I always thought I would just work for other studios, but as I was doing that, I found it to be pretty inaccessible to a lot of folks who need it.
So yoga in general was inaccessible. Okay.
Yes, yeah, I find the
way it was in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the studio model can be too expensive. It can be sort of cliquish, so it makes people feel like, I don't know if I belong here.
It can be very white.
Yes, very white. And so I'm from South Holyoke. I found yoga on PBS. It was Wailana Yoga, so I knew it as an Asian thing, like from the beginning, I didn't have enough sense of like where in Asia, but I knew it was like from people of color. Yeah. So it was really weird for me to finally end up in a studio space and be like, kind of, where is everybody? Yeah. So I decided to create my own organization where I take yoga to populations who don't have access to it. So I teach like in downtown Holyoke at Enlace de Familias. Downtown Holyoke doesn't have really any gyms or studios or anything to encourage wellness. And so if I hadn't found yoga on PBS, I don't know if I would have ever had access to it at that point.
The travesty of that.
Yeah, and who knows where I would have been if that were the case.
Well, I'm just saying the travesty of not having you bring your unique gift of yoga to the world.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying that. So that's just been kind of my whole model, is collaborating with organizations throughout the area to bring yoga to people. And of course, Yoga helped me with my own survivorship, and so I knew going in that I wanted to work with survivors of sexual trauma because yoga was so impactful for my own healing journey. So Thrive was always a heart work. It started as a 5-week series, and it has just been continuously evolving thanks to people like you who come and join and share so authentically, so openly, and I learn so much from every person who comes, and it helps me, reframe, reshape, heal in my own way just from being in community with all of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. And, I just have to jump in with your newsletter that you just sent out a couple of days ago. So gorgeous. Every month you send out this beautiful piece of art. And I just learned, like, you are not only in Holyoke and Springfield and Westfield and Hadley, you're also in East Hampton and West Hampton and Southampton and probably other places and multiple places within each town.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it? Like, I'm sure that's a big question, but I'm so grateful that you do it.
Oh, thank
and so
you.
you get a really interesting sense of the Happy Valley of Western Mass.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of really beautiful organizations throughout the area. So I do wish sometimes that I could just teleport everywhere.
Yeah,
but
because driving,
yeah, it's a
lugging all
lot
your
of driving, but my car is my studio, and that to me is kind of more, I always tell people yoga is a practice for life, and life is full of distractions. So yes, we could be in a beautiful studio space, but that is less realistic than if we are, pushing furniture in a senior center to find a place to create that sense of peace.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of driving. I'm able to do a lot of audiobooks, which is nice.
Excellent.
And yeah, I'm very fortunate to meet a lot of really incredible organizations and incredible people who really have their whole heart in working with the community.
Yeah. How does that inform how you're feeling now about where we are in the world?
It really buoys me. I think it's so easy to get weighed down and to feel very, very hopeless listening to the news. Gosh, I remember just a couple weeks ago, it was like mass shooting. Like I listened to Up First, and it was mass shooting, murder. It's like that's how I'm starting my day.
It's heavy.
And our bodies don't know the difference between an actual threat and a threat we're just hearing about. So our nervous systems are constantly on high alert, whether we know it or not. And so, yeah, being in these spaces and meeting these people, it kind of brings me back to reality that the bigger picture is always overwhelming and terrifying, but remembering that there are people on the ground trying to do the work in these communities, and that's how change happens, really. So it really buoys me through these times. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. And you mentioned the body not knowing the difference between someone else's reality and one's own, or in that way, it's like that response of that hyper alert. Our guest in episode 5 and 6, Lauren Rosa, talked about how the female body can't produce both progesterone and cortisol, the stress hormone. So if you're feeling stress all the time, which I think most of us now are, your hormones and your whole fertility and the ability to be like you're most alive is compromised. And so, like, how does your wonderful approach to yoga rebalance and bring the body into its happiest state? I know I'm happy when I take your classes. I just wonder what your, because you provide so many resources. What's like, how do you do that?
I think for me, it was, having to do my own healing first. And I have a science background. I have a bachelor's in biology. I was a vet tech before I became a yoga teacher. And so the science has always been just eye-opening, learning about things like the window of tolerance, or just learning about things like, the fact that our bodies respond to a threat, whether it's on the news or in person, learning and understanding how our bodies function has helped me anyway remember that we're animals, we're natural living beings. And so I always compare it to a fractious cat, right? Like, as a vet tech, you have a fractious cat. They're not a bad cat.
What does fractious mean?
Oh, fractious means they're freaking out and
Oh,
they're
okay.
hissing at you,
Okay.
they're spitting, they're swatting.
At their worst.
Yeah.
Totally dysregulated.
Yes, totally
Okay.
dysregulated, but they are not doing anything wrong, right? Like, that is a natural, healthy reaction to being trapped in a carrier and then brought to a bunch of strangers who are going to poke and prod at you, right?
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, like, that's our nervous system, right? And it doesn't help us to be cruel to that fractious cat because it's just going to swat and spit and claw at you more, you know? Instead, you give it a bunch of treats, you wrap it in a towel, you give it time to relax, you know, and then you can work with it.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, gosh, I hope I'm answering your question. I think for me, knowing about the nervous system, understanding our biology, helps me to offer compassion to myself and to encourage others to offer compassion to their animal bodies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Because if we can't access compassion in ourselves, how can we be compassionate human beings to any living being?
Absolutely.
Whether it's our plants or our animals, companions, or others, our you know, intimate partners, our friends or family, like, we got to be able to access it within ourselves first.
Right, yeah, and if we hold ourselves at such a high bar and are so hard on ourselves, like, of course we're going to hold everybody else to that bar, right?
Yeah. It's so interesting, that perspective of, like, I'm hurt, so I'm looking from a lens of being hurt, and I'm expecting you to hurt me, right? So if I'm healed and I'm healing and I'm feeling safe in my body, then I'm going to look at you as being safe and healed and grounded and rooted and whatever, healing on a journey and whatever, and you're safe. Like, it's such a different dynamic, and that resonance, that possibility of seeing the world through that lens, especially to, like you said, the people. We don't need to keep, like, offering the best of the best to the privileged people of the world. There's just too much of a gap in access to what's really needed. And so the way that you have a BIPOC special, you know, focus, you really bring your work into the cities, into the places where people may not find yoga on PBS or anywhere. So that's beautiful and so important. Have you ever thought of, like, I mean, do you get offers of, can I work with you? Can I be a yoga teacher for you or with you?
I haven't. I have got a couple of people ask me to lead a teacher training, which is something that's on the back burner. But I haven't gotten anything. The original intention with Mitra was to collaborate with other yoga teachers who were interested in the same type of work and create, like, this sort of super network of, you know, where I would find connections, people would have their own specialties, and then they would go and work in with those particular organizations, with those particular specialties. But as I've been doing this business for 3 years, I'm realizing I have a tough time just managing my own time and schedule.
So true, because it's exponential, right? It's like you can have one kid, but then you have two. It's and then healthcare and all the other things. Like, there's so many things that are broken with small business delivery to the market, to the world, you know, to other people. That is season 1. We talk a lot about those issues. So what's really, like, present for you in 2026? Where is your mind and heart space, and kind of what's alive in your aspirations?
I am kind of moving away. It's weird to feel like I'm a yoga teacher, but I feel like I'm moving away from a lot of the physical, like movement aspect. I am currently in an Ayurveda program. I just finished my finals for my first semester.
Congratulations.
And so, yeah, learning more about understanding things on a deeper level, on a more micro level. And in addition to the Ayurveda, I have started exploring the hypnagogic state.
What?
And so I have been very, very lucky to volunteer for a person who's training for guided imagery and music therapy.
Okay.
And so, okay, I'm going to go on a long tangent. Bear with me.
Thank you. No, I'm like rapt attention here. Like hypnotherapy, I get that, and being agog is like, right? Is that kind of?
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't really think of that.
Whoa.
So back when the LSD trials were happening, there was a woman whose last name is Bonnie. I want to say Helen Bonnie, but I might be wrong. And she was a music therapist and a musician, and so her job was to create playlists for people's LSD journeys.
Wow.
And she created very specific ones, like there's one called Ego Death and other such things. And because of the times, and because she was a woman, they're like, cool, things for the playlist, hang out in the waiting room. And so she did her own studies, and of course she didn't have access to LSD, but she did the practices with just the music, and she found that people were able to get just as much of a benefit, if not more so, because they were able to be so much more present and remember their journeys.
With the music.
With just the music.
Without the LSD.
No LSD.
Wow.
So I've done 2 journeys so far. It's literally you just lay down, you go through like a body relaxation. Your guide invites you to just start on a trail and doesn't really give you any more detail than that, and then starts the music. And it's always classical music because there's such a range and you can kind of tap into different emotions. And so the idea is that you're in this hypnagogic state, this place between falling asleep and being awake. So you're kind of in between or going back and forth, your subconscious and conscious. And in that way, we have what are called samskaras, or like our deep-seated issues. And no matter how much therapy we go through, I like to compare it to mint, right? Like no matter how much therapy we go through, no matter how much weeding of our garden we do, no matter how long ago we planted that mint, still pops up, right? Yeah. And so going into that hypnagogic state, you're starting to kind of get deeper into the dirt, so you can kind of access those roots a little better, but you have more, you're more aware of it, and you can kind of have more of a decision of how it plays out. At least that's my experience so far. And so bringing this back to yoga, the way to access that same state is through Yoga Nidra. And it's sort of similar in that it requires...
Do you want to explain Yoga Nidra for folks who might not?
Sure. Yeah, so Yoga Nidra is a practice in yoga. So yoga is much more than just a physical practice, of course. It includes meditation, breath work, even connection, as I like to say. And so Yoga Nidra is... almost like meditation, but not really. The idea is similarly, you get into a deep state of relaxation. You have the one pointed focus on your breath. The difference is in Yoga Nidra, we do a body scan, which allows you to kind of access that like bilateral activation of the brain, which helps to link the 2 hemispheres of the brain, which again helps us think a little more clearly, because one side is more emotional, one side's more logical. And so when we can kind of bridge those 2, we can kind of heal, or can at least like have a cohesive thought around something instead of just a sensation of fear, let's say. Okay. And so we are linking the 2 hemispheres of the brain, and then in Yoga Nidra, we guide a journey. For example, the first one I wrote is on wonder, and so I'm trying to connect the breath to a tree, to the sun, to the universe, and then weave it back in to remember that you are part of all of that. But it's less interpretive, interpretative than the music therapy, because music therapy is still very much a therapeutic practice. And so afterwards, you talk with your guide and things, and you kind of pick it apart and try to figure out what is going on. Whereas in Yoga Nidra, that's not the intention. It's more for you to have your own experience. As I'm talking, you don't even really have to follow what I say. It's just sort of creating the container for what is sort of arising within an individual. I will admit, I am brand new to it, so there might be parts that I'm saying that some of your listeners might be like, that's not how Yoga Nidra works.
Well,
and so
you may be brand new to it, but you're doing it in a way that is unique and it is effective. And I have to say, I love every time you invite us to like, you make invitations for the body to choose things, and we always want to choose. Well, not always. There was a couple of times when I was like, oh, my body wants to do something different. But most of the time, my body wants to follow what you're suggesting because it's so gentle and so spacious. And when you invite all the thoughts as clouds to just kind of move and then ultimately part to the clear sky above, it's like magic. It is magic, because it allows me to just not think about them. To literally, they just blow away, and then I'm all happy again because I'm feeling the sun. And there's this, there's a arousal by the sun. I can't remember now what it's called. I learned this in Kate Lister's Curious History of Sex book. She starts off something to the effect of, the fact that we all love the sun, there's a scientific like reason for it, and a whole like I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, getting to that place is like the body just goes.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that we're not just this and all the stuff. Not to say that all the stuff that's happening to us isn't real and doesn't matter, right? Because we're here and we're alive, but just to remember that, like, we're being held by something bigger, and whether you call that spirit or God, or in my opinion, just the universe, right? Just the fact that the sun exists and warms us and provides us with energy, provides the plants with energy so that it can nourish us. Like, whether you believe in religion or magic or not, like, that's pretty incredible.
Right, in and of itself.
Yeah.
Creation, all of the life growing is like awesome. So awesome.
To me, that's always been the magic. I know there's a lot of like, magic versus science, but I feel like as science discovers all these things, it's just like, wow, this place is incredible.
Yeah. And I do feel like quantum physicists are proving, all of the things that we name as God. So it's like the time is like things are coming together in an incredible way, like prophecies, and there's, and I think for me it's about love, choosing love always, being in that heart space that you named, and really living from that space. You like, fear is going to come, certainly, but when you're constantly affirming your heart and your heart space and the heart and heart spaces of others, fear just kind of like parts like the clouds, just kind of like, yep, it was there. Thank you, fear. Not this moment.
Yeah. Fear for me is just like a little, like Jack in the Box, I guess. It's kind of just always present, but it's having that balance of being like, okay, yes, and, right? There's fear and, what's that Audre Lorde quote when, like, your purpose is more important than your fear. Forget it. I'm going to misquote it.
So bad with that too. Like, I drool over it when I read it, and then it's gone.
But I want to just circle back because you said like how I help you with your thoughts, but that's you. Like, really, I'm just inviting it. And once you have the tool, it's yours, I remember teaching in a middle school, and I just invited the 3-part breath. or and for those who don't know, it's just filling your abdomen, your side rib, your upper chest, and then exhaling fully. And one kid at the end of the practice was like, "Wow, how did you do that?" I didn't do anything. Like that's you breathing. You know?
You facilitate. You facilitate with grace and spaciousness, and you see the dignity of everyone who's in your space so that they can see their dignity. And sometimes it could be, I imagine, it could be the first time someone has really felt seen, you know? It took me many years to feel seen in that way. And yoga saved my life too, really. Like I learned it in college because college, like I was the first person in my family to go to college and I had no idea what I was doing.
Same.
And someone on the hall that I lived in was like, "You need to go to yoga." And I'm like, "Why?" "Because you're so stressed." I'm like, "Okay, what is yoga?" And I was like, she said, "You get a credit for it." Okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
And it like seriously changed my life. Yeah, I got through an eating disorder. I continued for the rest of my life.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
From that moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
As it sounds you have.
Yes. Yeah. It's been so impactful, and it's been really interesting how it continues to kind of pop up at different stages of my life. So like I was doing it on TV as a kid, and then when I got into college, same sort of thing. There was a 1-credit yoga course. I would go in like my pajamas. I would laugh in the back corner with my roommate. Like we did not take it seriously at all. But my teacher didn't take herself too seriously. You know, she wasn't like, "Hey, pay attention," you know, she knew that people, you know, this is a 1-credit course in a college. And so she just did her thing, and she taught about Thich Nhat Hanh. She never really tried to get us to understand, you know, the rigid concepts of yoga. Instead, she used the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh to really get to like the heart, I think, of what yoga
Engaged
is.
Buddhism has been such a gift for the world because Mahayana yoga in its pure form is just really hard. Like Zen Buddhism, oh my gosh, right? Engaged Buddhism, yes, all day.
Right. And so that was hugely eye-opening for me, just hearing those words. And at this point when I was in college, my brother had just passed. And so it's like every time yoga came up, it was like this deep moment of grief and loss and pain. And it was just like, "Hey, buddy, like, come back to your body. Like, there's more, you know, if that makes sense."
Yeah. There's so much in the body. Isn't it incredible?
It really, really is fascinating.
Wow. I'd love to share one thing.
Sure.
I have this practice that's been enduring for maybe 3 years with a friend. Every week we get together and we celebrate the elements. We celebrate fire and water always. Sometimes we celebrate air and earth, even though we do with each other. It's like the fire and the water are like cornerstones. And we are just kind of now getting to our relationships with these elements where we are exploring it all within the body and seeing how that resonance and that cellular kind of awareness of water and fire and air and earth all know each other in the body. And they're like, "I got you, I got you, I got you." and then that is helping us to be like, you know, seeing each other and just affirming so much with like our intentions in the world. And it sounds very similar to the work that you do and how you hold the practice of yoga for anyone that comes to your classes. This hypnagogic, is it yoga? Hypnagogic yoga? Or is it
no, that's
state?
just a particular state, and that's just that state between like falling asleep and being awake, and sort of like where the subconscious and conscious meet.
Cool. Are you looking to do that in community or one-on-one, or how are you seeing what you want to do with it?
I think both. I think I would like to try, I am trying it in community this week just because I'm fascinated and I'm just playing it with my regular students. But also, yes, I think eventually I would really like to, as I do the Ayurveda, which actually what you're talking about, that's Ayurveda, like knowing the elements within you and how they all interact, like that's that.
Nice.
So it's just fun to kind of hear, like, all the ancient practices kind of were on the same page.
Yeah.
But all that to say that, yes, I'm hoping once I am more in depth with my Ayurveda that I can address people more specifically, knowing their dosha, knowing, and that's just kind of, are you more fiery? Are you more earthy? Are you more airy? And that's Vata Pitta Kapha. And so if I can really hone in on like you as an individual and then give a really personalized practice and offer a yoga nidra really specific to your needs, that is definitely a long-term goal.
Cool. Wow. That feels like a lovely introduction to Mitra Healing Centered Yoga. And we can pause here and maybe do another whole episode if there's a lot more you wanted to say. There's all kinds of questions and thoughts I have for you. If you have the time, we could do that.
Yeah, and I wanted to name also, you mentioned a few times about kind of giving people that space and treating people. I can't think of the exact word you used, but basically treating people equally. And I think that's one of the most important things that I want to offer in my practice as someone who grew up in an abusive household. I know what it's like to be treated like an object. I know what it's like to be treated less than human. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. And just to create a space where literally you get to do whatever feels good in your body. Like I have had classes where people come in and just sleep. And that's beautiful. Like I love that they feel that they have that agency, and that's so important to me. And if nothing else, I hope that people can touch back into that, their sense of agency, their sense of self-worth when they practice with me.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for again and again and again for the work that you do in the world.
Oh, thank you.
All the people, all the thrivers, the community that you're building. And you do it so well. Like for someone who didn't want to start a business, you are quite the badass entrepreneur, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for watching and listening to this episode 9 of Peace in the Body, Mujeres Co-Labor for Peace. Like us on whatever. I'm the worst at social media. We're coming with the social media soon. And we'll see you next time.